This conference will now be recorded.
Right, let's get started. So we have been discussing the storage concepts till yesterday. We had seen file synchronization. We had seen blobs, different types of blobs. We had seen queues, tables, and we had seen tools like Storage Explorer, right? So let's switch to the other topic today, which is identity and access management. There are two small topics which we will be discussing after this Active Directory, which I thought of completing today, but I will combine all those small topics together and complete in 1 or 2 days. That topic that what we were supposed to discuss is content delivery network (CDN). That we will discuss after completing this Active Directory stuff, this identity and access management. Okay. So, what is this identity and access management? Uh, why do we need this before we get into actually what Azure Active Directory is? We need to understand what is this identity and access management. Right. So your organization, let us say that if you have an organization and then you have employees and those employees should access certain resources, that means that you have to have some privileges or some authentication methodology, some validation methodology, right, to allow them to access certain resources. Otherwise, anybody can access the resources, whatever you have. If there's a file share, then you might want to restrict it only to certain people, right? Or if it's an application, the access might be provided only to a set of users and so on, right? And that's where your identity and access management will come into picture, right? Now, how do we do this in on-prem, right? So you have on-premises and you have users and they authenticate themselves and they validate their credentials and access certain resources and so on, right? That you do on-prem using a service called as Active Directory, right? You have if you are from a little bit of Windows background and you might have definitely heard about Active Directory, right? Active Directory domain services. Now, Active Directory is a solution on-prem which allows you to create user IDs and add them to certain groups. And then they authenticate themselves using those user IDs across the domain which they are part of, right? And they access the resource. Now that is fine. How do I do that on Azure? If my resources are on Azure and let us say that I don't want to use my on-premises Active Directory. Let us think so for a while, okay? I don't want to use my on-premises Active Directory. I want to create users on the Azure itself and want to use those users to provide required access to the applications that whatever I am hosting on cloud. That could be a situation or scenario, right? And those type of situations or scenarios, those type of situations and scenarios, what you can do is you can go and use something called as Azure Active Directory, right? Now, Azure Active Directory provides you a platform um, it provides you a method to go and create your user IDs, whatever you are in need of, right? And not only you can create user IDs, but you can also go and create a group and put these users in the right groups. Let us say that you have an application which is running on cloud as a platform as service, or even an application like Office 365 and so on. You can go and add that particular user group to the application so that they can get access to the apps that which they have access to. All right. Now, this is very important concept, and we need to understand this very clearly to understand, the identity and access management. Okay, let us quickly go into the Azure portal itself and see, how and where I can go and, use my Active Directory services, right? You see in the favorites itself, you see something called as Azure Active Directory, right? Azure Active Directory. Now, what does this will allow you? This is a blade where you can go and manage your entire Active Directory stuff, right? Now, if you see it, it picks something called as default directory. What it means is when you create an ID, how does your ID is getting created? It gets created with your email address .onmicrosoft.com if you closely observe. Now the email address that what I use to create my what do you call it as uh, Azure account, I used is Vemula for you at hotmail.com. Now what is the directory that which it is getting created? It gets created a directory called, it creates a directory called, it remotes .com, it remotes @ and then puts or appends on Microsoft.com at the end, right? That's how your default directory is getting created, right? When you create users, when you, let us say that if you are creating a users on Azure Active Directory, if I am creating a user called U1, how does that user U1 gets created? It takes a name U1, right, @ Vemula for you as hotmail.onmicrosoft.com. This is how your user ID will get created. What do we call this as? This is called as fully qualified domain name, right? This is called as FQDN. Then this is a UPN, user principal name, if you have little bit of Active Directory knowledge, right? So let us not bother about those things, just for understanding, as I said. But whatever the user IDs you create here using this default directory, whatever you have, you get user IDs with the name user at this particular directory.com, right? Now, so let us quickly go and see how do we create the users. Here you see an option called as users, right? Let us quickly go there. And then you have an option called as new user. You also have another option called as guest user. Guest user you can use for temporary purposes, but for if you're creating a user that which is kind of part of your organization, then you will go with new user account, right? Let me click on that new user. Now, by default, any user account, when you create it, asks a name and then identification purpose, some user ID, and so on. So the same thing here for Azure user ID creation as well, right? Now, name of the user ID. Let us say that user2. This is the username. Okay, user2. I'll use the same name. If you see it in the username, it asks you to provide username at your domain name or directory name. So if I click on, if I put my cursor on this information, username is an identifier that user enters to sign into the Azure Active Directory. For example, chris@contoso.com. So what is that I have to do here? Because I am with the default directory, which is on Microsoft.com, right? Vemula for you, Hotmail on Microsoft.com. How do I create a user ID here? It is user2 at Vemula for you, hotmail.onmicrosoft.com. This is how it will be, right? and he uses this user ID to log into anywhere. It could be an application on Azure, or it could be even the Azure portal itself. All right. So this is the second thing. Profile basically tells his first name, last name, and job title, department, and so on. This is not a mandatory field. This is not a mandatory field. I can leave that blank. And then the properties, right? Properties, it defines source of authority, not needed. And another important thing is groups. Another important thing is groups. If you want to put him on certain groups, right, there are certain inbuilt groups. There are certain groups that which you you created or I created in earlier. If you see it, group 1, SAP, MQM, and all these things, few of them are I created, right? For right now, I don't want to put this on any group. I just leave that as it is. That is groups, and then the directory role. Now, this directory role defines what type of the user account it is, right? Whether it is a normal user account, whether it is a global administrator account, whether it is a limited administrator account. Let us quickly discuss about user account. Any user account which is for general purpose can go into user account which is normal user account. A global administrator is an administrator who can manage your entire Azure Active Directory, right? If you are making this administrator as a global administrator, he will have permissions to manage entire Azure itself, the entire Azure itself, not only the Active Directory, entire Azure itself. And the limited access, it's a custom related role, a custom role with a limited access. That is the third one. We'll come back to those when we discuss about the groups, global administrator. There is one topic called as role-based access control, RBAC, right? During that, we'll be discussing all these things. For this class, what we need to know is how do we create a user account. Now, I'll leave that as a default, whatever it is selecting as a normal user account. Okay, that's what you see. Directory role is user. And then this user, whoever you are creating, should have a password. What Azure Active Directory does is it generates a password for the user. Now, if you are creating the user ID, then what you have to do is you have to provide this particular password to the user, right? For that, you can click on show password and then copy this password, right? Copy this password. So for the user ID, user2 at wemula4u hotmail.onmicrosoft.com, the password is this, right? Password is. Likewise, you can create n number of user IDs. N number of user IDs can be created, right? Now, you can go and create multiple user accounts like this. So when you create a user ID, you need to make sure that you're copying that password and then providing that password to the end user. Okay. Now let me go and create a group, right? Let me go and create a group. Right. So where are you doing all this activity? You are doing this activity in a console called Azure Active Directory. Okay. Now there are already certain groups that which you can see, right? There are certain groups which are cloud groups. There are certain groups which are called as Windows Server AD groups. We'll see what is this cloud group, what is that Windows Server AD group when we discuss this topic further. Okay, this topic further. Right. For this, for now, what we do is we go and create a group. Security groups. You have two types of groups. If you are using Office 365 and you want this group for Office 365, you go and select the Office 365 group, right? But I am going with a normal security group, which is a non-Office 365 group. Then I can go with the normal security group. Like any group, you will also have a group name, right? I'll say that what do we put? Demo group 1. I think the right name because group 1 is already there. And the description, right? What is the description of it? And there's a member type, right? There's only member type that is assigned. And who will be the owners of this particular group? If you want to make somebody as a owner, then you have to go and make this particular anybody. Let's say that DU1, I'll make him as a owner of this group, which means that he is responsible for this particular group, right? DU1 is the owner. Now, if you want to add members, you can go and add directly from here, right? You'll see all the user IDs that whatever you have, or you can also add not only users, you can also add groups to the groups, right? Now let me go and add user2 which I created, right? You can see user2 which we created is visible here. I'll go and add user2 at Vemula for you Hotmail on Microsoft.com, right? Add and then create. Likewise, you can also create groups within the Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, right? Now, if you see this, the demo group 1 which you created is of source is what? Cloud. What it means, anything that which you create using Azure Active Directory option here, any object you create here, it will be listed as cloud object. The other objects that what you see, Windows Server AD kind of stuff, they are not the objects that which are created from Azure Active Directory, but I'll explain those things as we move forward. But for now, any object that which you create, you see Windows Server AD, and then here if you look at the user ID, it says that Azure Active Directory. So source is Azure Active Directory. So DU1 what you created is source is Azure Active Directory, and the user to where is that user to, right? You created just now, source is Azure Active Directory. Other user ID source is Windows Server AD, right? This is a different source. So whatever I create from here, it will be listed as Azure Active Directory user account. Okay. Now you understood how to create a user ID. You understood how to create a group, and you also added this user to this particular group, right? Now you can assign applications to these users, right? If you have any applications, you can go and assign the applications to the users as well. Let me go to the user properties. Right, this is the user, right? There is a user we created, user2. This user2, whatever you created, it has some options, right? Every user account has got an option. Now licenses. Now this user is using, let us say, some application, and then you want to assign some licenses to for those applications, example Office 365 kind of stuff. You can go and click on add and assign the license. Or you can also assign applications to the individual users. So if, for example, it's an application, then you can go and directly assign this, right? So if user got access to the applications, they will be listed here. Users got some licenses or some application licenses, they will be listed here. And user has some devices. We'll be looking at how do we add a device to the Azure Active Directory. But if we got some devices, they are also be listed here, right? So these are the properties of the user ID, right? Similarly, you will have certain properties for your groups also, right? If you go to the group, like add additional members kind of stuff, and then other related properties. Let me go ahead with the group. Let us go with the group what we created and see what are the different options you see within the group that which you created, right? Let us say where is that cloud group we created, right? This is a group that which we created. Now, as I said, this group also got a members where you can go and add members to this group whenever you want. You can change the owners by going to the owners option, right? what is this group members, right? You can add a group member. Applications also can be listed, or you can assign the licenses to the group itself rather assigning to the individual user, right? So these are the different options, simple and straightforward, self-explanatory, right? So fine. So you created a user, and let us say that he want to access the Azure portal, right? You want to, you ask him, boss, I had given enough permissions. You go and log into the Azure portal, right? Let us go to get into a private window mode and try to access, the Azure portal using the user ID that which you created. Portal.azure.com. And what is the username? This is the username, right? What's the password? This is the password. Sign in. Now, when he logs in for the first time, it will ask you, or it will ask him to change the password, because it's a default password that whatever you got, it is generated password, right? Let us go and reset the password. Right? Right? You are into the Azure portal. Now, if you look at, he logs into the Azure portal using his default user name, right? If you click on view account, it will give you more details, right? This directory and other stuff, right? They also got an option to change the password password service and other thing. We'll be discussing all those things tomorrow. Okay, so how do we set up the self? Let us say that you forgot your password. You can reset your password, right? Using self service rather calling the help desk and then asking them to the reset password. It can be done. You can change the password from here, right? Now, likewise, it's just a portal to which he got access to, right? I mean, he will not be able to go and create a virtual machine. It won't allow him to create a virtual machine because you don't have right permissions to create, right? You don't have right permissions to create. If you look at the directory itself, what directory he's pointing to? He's pointing to the directory called as Vemula for you Hotmail, right? If you look at this here, the top, this is the directory he is pointing to. Domain, if you see it, Vemula for you hotmail.onmicrosoft.com, right? This is how you can create a user IDs and access or provide access to them whenever any applications or a portal itself they want access or they want to get in. Now, let us say that all this is good. You can create user IDs and give passwords. But my organization wants its own domain to be added here. I don't want this Vemula for you on Hotmail something, which is very odd, right? It's not good. All the user IDs, whatever you create, will have this. Now I want to use my own organization name rather going with this default directory that what I get, or default domain name, whatever I get. Let us say that my organization name is some xyz.com. xyz.com. Now, when I create a user ID, then it should be user at xyz.com. Rather, xxx.onmicrosoft.com. Right? Want to change this. To change this, there is something called as custom domain configuration. Something called as custom domain configuration. Now, what is this custom domain? A custom domain will allow you to add your own domain name to the Azure Active Directory and use that domain name whenever you create a user ID. For example, if I go back Where do I find the custom domain name? Within the same Active Directory. Here you see an option called as custom domain, right? See an option called as custom domain names. Now I have a custom domain name already, right? If you look at virtualvmla.com, this is the custom domain name. What is the default domain name you get? You get this one, right? Which we had seen. Whenever you create a username, you create with this name. If you add a custom domain name, you can always go and create user IDs with this custom domain name. In this case, I can also create user IDs, a user at custom domain, which is nothing but virtualvmla.com. If my organization name is virtualvmla.com, I'm happy to have users IDs created like that, right? Now let us go and see. By default, you will not have these custom domains added. By default, you will not have these custom domains added. You have to manually add them. Now for this custom domain to add, you should have a registered domain name with your domain name service providers, right? Who are those service provider? It could be a GoDaddy or anybody for that matter, right? Now I have a custom domain which I purchased. If you look at this, which is nothing but indiarecipes.com. Let us say that this is my organization name and I want to use my Active Directory user ID is created with this particular domain name. And I want to go and add this custom domain name here. So for that, what I need access to my domain on the internet from where you have purchased this particular domain. Because I purchased this from GoDaddy, I have access to this domain where I can go and manage my entire domain itself, right? You see an option, manage DNS, manage domain settings. Now what I do is I'll go and add that particular domain here, okay, as a custom domain. You're getting right. So if you want to add your own organization domain, what you need is you need to add a custom domain here. To add a custom domain, you need some verification that needs to be done. You see, there's an option called verified. You need to verify your domain. To verify your domain, what you need is you need to go and add certain records here. You see, there are multiple records. So there are certain records that which you go and add here so that you are authenticating yourself. You are authorized to use this domain, and that domain will be added and verified here in the Azure portal, right? We'll see how do we do that. Now what is the domain name we are going to use? We are going to use here a domain name called indiarecipes.com. Let us say that that is my organization name, right? India. And all the user IDs that whatever will I want to create, it will be created using indiarecipes.com domain. Okay, so let us go back to our Azure portal. You see an option here called add custom domain. Go and put the domain name that which you want to add, right? I want to add a domain name with the name called indiarecipes.com. Add that domain, right? Add that domain. Now if you go back and see, the domain is added, but it is unverified. It is unverified. So to verify this domain name, what you need to do is, as I said, if you click on the domain, you need an option. You have an option here called verify, right? You have an option here called. Well, let me click on verify option. Let us see if it's successful. No, it is not. What it says, could not find a DNS record on this domain. DNS changes may take up to 72 hours to propagate, and so on. Now what you have to do is to verify yourself, you need to go and add either of these two records. What are the records you see here? Record type. One is text record, the other one is MX record, right? Now if you have a Windows background and you are having little bit of Active Directory knowledge and DNS knowledge, you have multiple records within the domain, right? DNS, which we call it as host record, CNAME record, right? SRV records, and so on. These are also some type of records. One is text record, the other one is MX, which is not a mail exchange record, right? Now, one of these two records should be added to your domain. Then, if you click on verify, you will successfully able to verify yourself by validating your details, right? Now, to add these records, what I need to do is I need to go to my domain that which I purchased and then go to the DNS management, right? DNS management. These options may vary from service provider to service provider. Because I am using GoDaddy, these are the options. If you are using somebody, Google or some DNS, then the options are little different, but you still have that option of adding these things. Okay. Now here you see all the existing records that whatever by default you get, they are already there, right? You can see multiple records, right? You can see multiple records, right? You can see multiple records. Now you want to add your own record. Click on add button here. Now what type of record you want to add? As I said, multiple type of records will be there. You want to add MX record, you can go with it, right? You have both, right? You have MX, you have text. If you want to go with MX record, you can go with this. If you want to go with text, you can go with this, right? I'll leave that as text. Okay. Now host, what is the host? Host here you see it as @ right? Host is @ I'll go and put @ here. What is the text value? Here you see some value, right? Some server name, ms equals to or some name, right? Destination or points to address, right? ms equals to some name, right? This is the name that which you are going to go and put it, right? I'll go and copy it and then put that here. Value. TTL value, time to leave, I'll leave that as it is and save it. Leave that value and save it. You can see this particular record, whatever you want to add is successfully added to your domain. Okay. Now you added your custom domain. You added your custom domain record, the text record to your DNS, whatever you purchased from your service provider, in our case, GoDaddy. Now, because you have already added this, let us go and try to verify it. Let us go and verify this particular domain. Now, your domain, whatever you want to add, which is a custom domain, is successfully verified. If you go to the domain details, you can see this as a verified domain, right? indiarecipes.com as a verified domain. Likewise, you can go and add your custom domain. You can go and add and validate and verify your custom domain with the domain name. Okay. Now, any questions on this so far, whatever we discussed about the custom domain addition? Okay, so I'll take it as no. We'll move ahead and go and create user IDs using our custom domain. Now I have my own custom domain. I want to create user IDs of my organization with the name indiarecipes.com, right? Let us go and do it. Users, add user, right? User 3, and then you have to go and put user 3 at your domain name, right? What is our domain name? This one, right? India recipes. Right, @ indiarecipes.com. Right? So you can create. Now it generates the password. You can see it generates the password. You can copy the username. You can copy the password. and this password you will be using to log into your applications or domain or what. Create. I'm not going to change anything. I'll leave everything as default. Okay. Right now you can see a user ID with custom domain is. Now I can use this user ID with custom domain to log into my Azure. I go to the private mode. Right. The user ID that which I created. Password which we got it. It'll ask you to change the password. Right. The password. Right. So it authenticates and logs in with the new user ID that whatever you create. Right. If you go and look at this, right. But the default domain name what you still see here is Vemula for you on Microsoft.com because the default domain that what we selected there is so. Okay. So don't worry about that. So the user ID that what you used is your new user ID with the domain name, custom domain name that whatever you want to have, right? And user is able to log in to the Azure portal, or even they can get into the applications using this custom domain user ID that whatever you just create. Okay, right. That's how you can go and add your custom domains and create groups or users within the custom domain using Azure to Direct. Right now, let us quickly move into the other topic. Now, this Azure Active Directory that whatever you have has multiple pricing models. Okay, so editions we can call it as. Based on the edition that what you select, cost or the features that whatever you get. Right? If you look at Azure Active Directory pricing, then what you see here, there are different editions, right? One is free edition, second one is basic edition, premium P1, premium P2, and Office 365 apps. Now, what we are using right now is a free edition, right? In free edition, you don't get all these options, whatever you see here. There are many options that which are not available, right? And based on the edition that what you go and purchase with Microsoft, you will get required features. For example, if you go with basic, there is no limitation of the number of objects that which you create, versus if you are going with free, then the number of objects here is 5 lakh. Now, when we say object, it's not just the user IDs, any object that which you create within the Azure Active Directory, which could be a user account, which could be a group, which could be a computer account, and so on, right? And there's a P1, P2 premium, and then Office 365. Single sign-on, it is there. How many apps? It is 10 apps, right? And here also 10 apps, but there is a change. But there is a no limit in for single sign-on. If you are hosting some applications on Azure and you want to use a single sign-on feature, then you can go and use it. B2B collaboration, business to business collaboration. Self-service password change. Now, if you want to change the password on your own and you forgot the password, we had seen, right? Just now for the user account, you forgot the password and you want to reset the password using your secure questions that whatever you answered earlier or you set earlier, or an OTP to your mobile, or a secure code to your email address, registered email address, right? Using those things, you can go and reset your password. That option, that solution is also available, right? But it is available for all these things, right? Now, premium plus basic, if you go to premium plus basic, then there are multiple other stuff, right? right back to on-premises. If you are resetting the password, and let us say that you are integrating your Active Directory with the Azure Active Directory, we'll see that tomorrow. On-prem and Azure Active Directory replication and other stuff, we can also do that. So what you need to understand here is, at least for the examination point of view or interview point of view, you need to know that there are multiple editions of Azure Active Directory, and each edition has certain features which are available or not available, and so on. That's the reason I was just thought of taking you through this. Okay. Now, so we understood what are the different types of what do you call it as custom domains, how do we create, and other stuff. You can also add devices. If you see it, you can add a device to your Azure Active Directory. Now, what is the use of adding the device to Azure Active Directory? I can use my Azure Active Directory credentials to get into the device. If I enable single sign-on, the same user ID credentials I can use to get into any other application. Right? Because there are no devices added, I see this as a blank. If you want to add a device, you can add a Windows 10 device. You can add an Android OS device. You can add an iOS device and Mac device as well. Right? How do I do that? You have here, and I'll show you where to do it. We'll see if we can add it within the settings of your Windows machine. Mine is Windows 10, so I can quickly show you. Go to the accounts. You see access worker school, right? Now, using this option to connect, you can go and connect your device to your Azure Active Directory. So what does it ask? It asks me an email address to add. I'll go and provide the email address. Let us say that, what is that we created just now? User3, right? User3 at indiarecipes.com. Let us say this is the user ID that I want to use. And then use the password. I think this doesn't have required permissions. Let us see. Let us try to add it. If not, we'll use others. Right? This is your password. It's incorrect. Right? So you can see that particular account is added successfully, and you have access to your organization's apps and services or whatever. That's what it says. Anyway, so you can add a device, and using this addition of device, you will get advantages of, as I said, single sign-on and so on. Right? User 3. Now, if I go and refresh here, I should see that device visible. Right? You can see this device, whatever I added, is visible here. Right? So likewise, we will be discussing further about this, more details on this, but you can also add devices, and you can go to the individual user to see what are those devices for him, right? We had just seen the devices and then applications and then licenses and so on, right? Likewise, you can also add devices to your Azure Active Directory. I will go and disconnect this, right? You can always disconnect this particular connection, that whatever you made. Okay. So like that, you can go and add your devices to your Azure Active Directory. Okay. Now, till here we are good. Now we've seen how do we create user IDs on Azure, and how do we create groups. Let us say I have I have already an on-premises environment, and I want to use all my on-premises user IDs on Azure. I have an on-premises environment, which is my Azure Active Directory. Let us say on-premises Active Directory. And the Active Directory name itself, let us say that indianrecipes.com. And I have user IDs here, user IDs in group. I don't want those user IDs to be again created here. I want to replicate these user IDs that whatever I have here on-prem, whatever here I have on-prem, right, to my Azure Active Directory. To my Azure Active. And this is my Azure Active Directory environment. Right? Now I did not have to create user IDs here. Whatever the user ID or password here it is set, he will be using the same user ID and password. Otherwise, for on-prem he has one user ID, for cloud he has another user ID and two passwords and so on. Right? I'll just make a synchronization connection between my on-prem and then cloud. That is possible. Now, what you are attaining here is you are attaining the duplication of IDs, removal of duplication of IDs, and you are synchronizing the password, which means that users need not have to create multiple passwords, right? And what you are attaining is you are reducing the administrative overhead, right? You need not have to create user ID there and user ID here and so on, complexity and so on. Now for that, Microsoft provides you a tool called Azure AD Connect. Azure AD Connect is the tool that which we will be using to connect your on-premises domain to your Azure Active Directory. So when you configure that, what you see is if your organization has got 10,000 user IDs, all those 10,000 user IDs are visible here in the users because you are replicating your on-premises user IDs and groups to your Azure Active Directory. Now, if you closely observe this, right, I told you that there are few IDs with the name called Windows Server. There are few IDs with the name Azure Active Directory. Right? There are few IDs with the name called Windows Server AD. What does it mean? It means that the ID which is named as Windows Server AD is an ID which got replicated from my domain, which is sitting on-prem, and it is not created here. It is not created here. So it got replicated from on-prem. Right? So we have a solution like that where you can go and replicate your on-premises user IDs to the Azure and use the same user IDs and passwords, whatever you use on-prem to access your Azure portals or applications within the Azure. Right? So tomorrow what we are going to do is we will build a custom domain. I am going to go and set up a domain with the name called what is called indiarecipes.com. And we'll create few user IDs on that domain and we'll have that Azure AD Connect installed and see how can we replicate those user IDs which we have on-prem to our Azure Active Directory. And then using those user IDs, we'll try to get into the Azure portal and or the applications that whatever we want to access and see how it works. Okay. So tomorrow's I don't want to start that today because time will not be sufficient. So we'll start with Azure Active Directory Connect tomorrow, and then we'll also discuss if time permits the other topics. Okay. So if you have any questions on whatever the topics we discussed on custom domain or user ID creations and so on, you can ask. We can take those questions. Otherwise, we are done for today. Any questions, guys? Okay, so if no questions, tomorrow's topic it will be an extension of Azure Active Directory, which will be a little interesting, right? So we will go and set up. I'll keep that setup ready. I'll create a domain environment with Active Directory installed and other stuff. and then we'll install a tool called Azure Active Directory Connect on one of the servers on-prem, and then try to integrate that with our Azure AD, and then we'll see what are those objects that you want. If you want to fine tune the replication itself, only certain user IDs, certain groups, and all those things, that level of filtering is also possible. Okay, and we also do check how do I check the health check, whether it is synchronizing properly or not, whether there are any issues or not, and so on. All those things tomorrow we'll see. Okay, now for today we'll stop here. Tomorrow we'll continue with Azure Active Directory Connect. And there is one more topic along with that, which is called as Azure Active Directory Domain Services, which we'll be discussing day after tomorrow, right? So day after tomorrow, we'll be completing this Azure Active Directory part, identity and access management part on Friday. Okay, so 2 days then is enough for us to cover the entire identity and access management, right? If you don't have any questions, I think we are done. If you have any questions, you can still ask. We have 5 minutes time. If no questions, I think we are good for today. Okay, so I'll take it as no. We'll catch up tomorrow then. Have a great day. Bye.
This conference will now be recorded.